tucked away amongst the rolling waves and green hills of Chile's southern coast, is a magical group of islands called Chiloé. It's here, in this seaside paradise, that the legend of Sirena Chilota was born, a mystical being of the sea whose story has enchanted people for ages. This charming town, with its bright, colorful houses on stilts and its strong connection to the sea, is the perfect setting for the story of Sirena, a figure both admired and mysterious. The stories about Sirena Chilota say she came from the magical joining of sea spirits and people from the land, making her the very spirit of the sea. Some stories say she had a human body and a fishtail, while others say she was a magical being who could change her shape, blending in with the waves. Whether a magical siren or a wise old soul, Sirena's beginnings are still a secret, making her story even more interesting. Chiloé isn't just a place on a map, it's a place where life revolves around the sea, full of culture and history. The sea is part of everything in Chiloé, from the food people eat to the amazing stories they tell. Families have lived by the sea for hundreds of years, getting their food and their stories from the ocean. In this seaside town, water is seen as a living thing, something that can give wonderful gifts but also create big challenges. The people of Chiloé have always known how important it is to live peacefully with the sea. The stories of their ancestors are like a guide, showing them how to live with the vast ocean that surrounds their home. Sirena Chilota, a key figure in these stories, is like a bridge between people and nature, showing the careful balance between appreciating and respecting the sea. As we explore the adventures of Sirena Chilota, we'll try to uncover the mix of myth and truth that makes up her fascinating story. By looking at the local stories, we start to see how her tale adds to the story of the sea, keeping alive memories that honor both the past and the present. Sirena Chilota's story begins in the gentle rocking of the ocean, where she spent her childhood exploring its hidden depths and enjoying the warm, sunny shores of Chiloé. Growing up in a family of fishers, her early life followed the rhythm of the sea, shaping who she was and preparing her for her future as the magical siren of the stories. From a very young age, Sirena loved the ocean. Her family lived in a small wooden cottage very close to the shore. The fresh, salty air of Chiloé filled her lungs, and the gentle sound of waves became the music of her childhood. Every morning the sun would rise, painting the sky in shades of gold and purple, inviting her to the seaside where she loved to play. As a child, she would race her brothers and sisters to the rocks where she imagined mermaids dancing just below the surface. These happy days spent splashing in the rock pools weren't just fun, they were full of new discoveries. Sirena was very good at noticing things in nature, and she understood things far better than other children her age. The amazing life of the ocean, the swaying seaweed, the swimming fish, and even the giant whales that sometimes jumped out of the water, told her secrets that only she seemed to understand. Sirena's family were expert fishers, well known for their deep knowledge of the sea. Her father, a very experienced fisherman, taught Sirena and her siblings to respect the ocean and all it provided. He would tell them stories of the sea, exciting tales of adventure, danger, and wisdom. These stories included traditional fishing knowledge passed down through generations, teaching them the importance of taking from nature only what you need and giving back in return. Her mother, a healer, used the herbs and seaweeds that grew near the shore. From her, Sirena learned about the healing power of these plants and how important it was to care for the land and sea. This combined influence of fishing and healing helped Sirena develop her own magical abilities. As she grew older, Sirena started to show special talents that made her different. Local fishermen would come back from their fishing trips with stories of amazing catches and scary storms, but they also talked about lucky moments, the sea suddenly becoming calm just as a storm was about to hit, or fish appearing out of nowhere when their bait wasn't working. As these stories spread, people started to believe that these lucky events were because of Lady Sirena, her magic seemingly helping the fishermen when they needed it most. One clear evening, as the sun set and the sky turned bright orange and red, Sirena experienced her first real moment of magic. Standing at the edge of the shore, she felt the ocean calling to her. She closed her eyes and stretched out her arms, and the waves started to dance around her, splashing playfully as if they were welcoming her. Her heart beat fast with excitement, and at that moment she knew she was special, connected to the sea in a way others could only dream of. The landscape of Chiloé, a mix of bright green plants, misty mountains, and winding waterways, was a magical place for young Sirena. The island is famous for its beautiful scenery, thick forests with ancient trees, colorful flowers growing along the shores, and lots of different creatures living in the sea. It became her playground, her school, and her safe place. Kilo's natural beauty had a big impact on Sirena's growing abilities as she learned to see how everything in nature is connected. The island and its waters were living, spiritual beings that moved with the rhythm of nature. She often went on quiet trips to hidden coves, where she would sit for hours thinking about the mysteries of the universe. Sirena loved watching the glowing jellyfish that swam gracefully, the playful otters that spun around happily, and the powerful eagles that flew high above. Being so close to nature showed her that everything, from the biggest creatures in the sea to the smallest grains of sand, was part of one big story. The beauty of Kilauea became a very important part of who Sirena was, and a constant reminder of her duty to protect the environment. Sirena Chilota's childhood was shaped by her family, the magical landscape of Chiloe, and the exciting discovery of her magical gifts. All of this led her towards her destiny of becoming the spirit of the sea, a protector and interpreter of marine life. The islands of Kilo are not only home to amazing landscapes, but also to lots of exciting legends that have been passed down through time. These stories, created by the people who live there, tell of beautiful mermaids, powerful sea spirits, and other magical creatures that have always fascinated those who live by the sea. These legends played a big part in how Sirena Chilota understood her powers and her connection to nature. Kilo's folklore is full of stories about mermaids and sirens, female creatures that are often described as incredibly beautiful, but also both enchanting and dangerous. One of the most famous legends is about Pincoya, the mermaid who lives in the waters off the coast. Pincoya is said to protect all the creatures in the sea, and when she dances in the waves, the fishermen have a good catch. She is known for her amazing beauty and her captivating dance that can bring the fish up from the deep sea for the fishermen. When she dances happily, it means good luck and lots of fish, but when she dances sadly, it warns of storms and hard times to come. The connection between Sirena and Pincoya reflects Sirena's own experiences with the sea. They both share a magical bond with the ocean and a responsibility to look after it. These magical stories about mermaids are more than just fantasy. They teach us about the relationship between people and the ocean, reminding us to respect the power of the sea. Sirena, often seen as a mermaid herself, found inspiration in these legends. They helped her understand who she was and her destiny as a mystic who could bring forth the ocean's bounty. Besides mythological figures, Kilauea's waters are full of spirits that shape the beliefs and practices of local fishermen. Among these spirits are the tutelary spirits, like guardians of the ocean, who offer protection, guidance, and sometimes warnings about the unpredictable nature of the sea. Kalush. This legendary ghost ship sails the coastal waters, and it's said to be crewed by the spirits of drowned fishermen. It represents both the dangers of the sea and the hope of being reunited with lost loved ones. The Wenka spirits. These are seen as kind spirits representing a link between fishermen and the sea. Fishermen often ask for their blessing before going out to sea, hoping for a safe journey and a good catch. These guardian spirits influenced Sirena's magical abilities. Important moments in her life were marked by meetings or dreams featuring these spirits, which encouraged her to respect the ocean's power and beauty. Her understanding of these spirits became a key part of her magic, as she learned to communicate with the forces beneath the waves. The legends of the sea also talk about transformation, which is an important part of Sirena's journey. Many magical creatures in Chilean folklore can change their shape or have two different natures, showing the balance between human and spiritual qualities. Sirena embodies this duality. Her human experiences are mixed with the magical parts of who she is. Stories like that of the Señor de los Mares, known for changing into a giant sea serpent, show how fragile life is and how powerful the changing nature of the sea can be.
Breaking news.
These stories also teach important lessons. Stories of people who don't respect the ocean and end up trapped within it show what happens when you're too proud, guiding Sirena and her community to live in harmony with nature. The cumulative weight of these legends played a vital role in shaping Sirena's gifts. As she navigated the waters, she became a student of the ocean's countless tales and fables, each encounter providing insights into her capabilities and deepening her connection with the sea. Inspired by legends of Pincoya and the Venkies, Sirena understood that her identity as a mystic was not merely about power. It was a legacy to maintain, an honor to uphold in her relationship with the ocean's gifts. With every tale she absorbed, Sirena developed a sense of stewardship over the marine ecosystems surrounding Chiloé. Understanding the legends ensured that she valued and protected the ocean, promoting the important lesson that the mystical and natural worlds are intertwined. Through the vibrant myths of Chiloé's seas, Sirena discovered her destiny as a custodian of the ocean, blending folklore and nature in a way that allowed her to navigate her powers with grace, strength, and respect. On that transformative evening, Sirena ventured to her favorite rocky outcrop, a place where the whispers of the sea felt most potent. The moment her toes grazed the cool water, an electric shiver coursed through her body, causing her heart to race with an exhilarating intensity. As the tide ebbed and flowed, she closed her eyes, inhaling the salty air, and surrendered to the sounds of the ocean. In an instant, she felt the presence of something otherworldly surrounding her, a palpable energy of the marine spirits that resided within the depths of the ocean. Suddenly, she was no longer just a girl immersed in the beauty of the sea, but rather an integral thread of its tapestry. The wind carried with it voices of countless beings, and as she listened, Sirena began to understand she was the vessel through which the wisdom of the ocean could be shared. As legend would have it, that evening marked her first encounter with the Maranones, playful spirits believed to inhabit the waters surrounding Chilo. They are described as shimmering lights that dart through the waves, eternally curious and alive with laughter. The Maranones emerged from the depths, drawn by Sirena's awakening powers. Transfixed by the ethereal presence around her, Sirena extended her hand toward them, and to her astonishment, the water began to shimmer and swirl in response to her unspoken call. With a gentle gesture, she felt the pull of the currents and sensed the rhythms of life beneath the surface. A strong connection surged through her, enabling her to communicate instinctively with the very essence of the ocean. Each wave, tide, and splashing fish became a part of her dialogue with the marine world. Overwhelmed with emotion, Sirena realized she had been granted a profound gift and was left with an acute sense of responsibility. She came to understand that her connection to the sea came with an obligation to honor its ecosystems and the spirits that resided within. This knowledge weighed heavily on her heart. It was thrilling yet daunting, and she wondered how the village would embrace this new dynamic in their lives. Word eventually spread throughout her coastal village about Sirena's remarkable abilities, prompted by fishermen who returned from the sea with stories of unanticipated successes. Catches that were unusually plentiful or storms that subsided upon their return. These miraculous accounts resonated with hope among the villagers, creating a growing reverence for the young girl who dared to commune with the aquatic spirits. The awakening of her powers did not come without challenges. With each gift she uncovered, fear of the unknown lingered. Uncertainty accompanied her every step. Sirena learned to channel her abilities with caution, balancing her role between mystic and mortal. Sirena Chilota's journey from a spirited child of the sea to a powerful mystic was fraught with challenges, conflict, and internal struggles. As her connection with the ocean deepened and her mystical abilities emerged, she faced a myriad of trials that tested her resolve and commitment to her path as a guardian of the sea. In every community, the extraordinary often meets skepticism. As Sirena began to exhibit her mystical powers, stories of her abilities spread like wildfire among the townsfolk, igniting both awe and doubt. While some villagers embraced her as a beacon of hope and guidance, others dismissed her gifts as mere superstition and trickery. Rival fishermen would mock her, claiming her mystical insights were nothing but the fanciful dreams of a young girl. This skepticism weighed heavily on her shoulders, creating an emotional chasm that she struggled to cross. With newfound admiration came great expectations. The community looked to her for guidance, even in their most dire moments. This placed an immense pressure on Sirena to constantly prove her capabilities. What began as a joyful exploration of her gifts soon morphed into a dizzying dance of validation and unrelenting judgment. Each successful act of mysticism was accompanied by heightened scrutiny. At times, Sirena would question the authenticity of her powers. Is this the wisdom of the ocean she heard, or merely echoes of her own imagination? Such thoughts haunted her, fueling moments of vulnerability where she withdrew from communal life. With the tide of admiration came the surf of responsibility. Sirena had unwittingly taken on the role of a leader, becoming a keeper of the delicate balance between humans and the sea. As she learned to harness her powers, the burden became heavier. Sirena frequently found herself in the water, performing rituals to calm storms or bless fishing expeditions. Each incantation and prayer carved deeper into her spirit and left her exhausted. The toll of her dual existence meant sacrificing her childhood. Moments of carefree joy were replaced with the weight of expectation and duty. Developing her powers interfered with her friendships and family relationships. In the midst of this newfound fame, her social isolation grew, while some cherished her. Distant whispers from others stung like the ocean's biting cold. The most tumultuous battles Sirena faced lay deep within her own psyche. As the gulf between human existence and mystical calling widened, she found herself wrestling with conflicting identities. Sirena's journey triggered an intense internal struggle as she waded deeper into her mystical destiny. Torn between the expectation to be a traditional daughter, sister and friend, and the calling to embrace her role as a mystic, she grappled with feelings of isolation. Should she entirely abandon her human connections for a higher calling? Would pursuing her destiny cost her the bonds she held dear? As the waves crashed, bringing forth moments of clarity amidst turmoil, Sirena began to understand that both aspects of her identity could coexist. The lessons from the ocean's depths taught her that embracing duality was essential to the harmony she sought. As Sirena's influence grew, she also faced external challenges that required her to navigate the complexities of belief, tradition, and the changing dynamics of her coastal community. Along with the admiration came envy. Competitors and rival fishermen began to delve into practices of their own, attempting to undermine Sirena's reputation to establish their own claims to the mystical sea. This competitive rivalry placed her in a precarious position, demanding she demonstrate her worth continually amid burgeoning skepticism. The younger generation began to seek answers beyond traditional practices, drawn to new influences and ideologies. As Sirena pushed for the preservation of marine ecosystems, she found herself at a crossroads, a delicate negotiation between honoring age-old traditions and advocating for modern perspectives that embraced environmentalism. Through trials of conflict, responsibility, and self-discovery, Sirena emerged with a newfound understanding of her life's purpose. Each challenge added layers to her character, weaving strength into her identity and forging her legacy as a mystic guardian. Sirena ultimately learned to own her duality, blending her human compassion with her mystical insights. Rather than overshadowing one another, these elements harmonized, fostering a richer understanding of the sea's narratives and the human experience intertwined with it. No longer weighed down by the expectations of others, she committed herself to lead with empathy and wisdom. In doing so, she embraced the very essence of what it meant to be a mystic. An inspired connection fostering protection of the ocean and a shared journey that aligned with the hearts and minds of those around her. Sirena Chilota's path was intricate, filled with hurdles that shaped her into the resilient and empathetic figure that so many revered. The trials she faced were not merely obstacles, they molded her beautifully as she embraced her destiny, a mystic drawing families closer to the ocean through enduring stories and teachings, leaving a legacy that would ripple through time. As Sirena Chilota matured into her role as a mystic of the sea, her connection with the ocean deepened, drawing her into a protective mantle that she would come to embody. Sirena's legendary status was not merely built upon her captivating abilities, but, more importantly, her profound commitment to safeguarding the marine ecosystems around Chiloe. This section delves into her efforts to protect the ocean, the threats she confronted, and her relationships with fishermen as she guided them towards sustainable practices. Sirena's journey as a guardian of the ocean began with her understanding of the delicate balance between humanity and nature. The villagers depended on the sea for sustenance, but their actions often jeopardized the very ecosystems that supported their livelihood. Recognizing the intertwined fate of her community and the ocean, Sirena took it upon herself to become its defender, driven by her mystical bond and her desire for harmony. With her acute sensitivity to the ocean, Sirena became aware of alarming changes in the waters that surrounded her. Overfishing, pollution, and environmental degradation threatened marine life and the livelihoods of her beloved fishermen. It was a collective cry for help, one she could not ignore. Sirena witnessed fishermen hauling in too many catches, diminishing fish stocks to the point of near collapse. She understood that her relationship with the ocean endowed her with both wisdom and responsibility. To combat overfishing, she embarked on a mission to educate the fishermen about sustainable practices. Fishing is not just a means of survival, it is a sacred relationship we must honor, she would remind them. While Sirena fought to curb overfishing, she could not turn a blind eye to another formidable enemy, pollution. As industries encroached upon the pristine shores of Chile, the water suffered from toxic runoff and waste. Sirena felt the repercussions of this affront deeply, both physically and spiritually. The struggle against oil spills and waste. Sirena campaigned against dumping waste in the ocean, urging for cleanup efforts, dreaming of a day when the waters would be as pure as they had been in her youth. She called upon the villagers and fishermen to unite in an effort to keep their shores clean, fostering community-driven actions to protect their environment. Raising awareness. Sirena organized gatherings to educate her community about the impact of pollution. Together, she and the townsfolk cleared litter from the beaches and organized workshops discussing environmentally friendly techniques, including reducing single-use plastics. Through storytelling and immersive experiences, she reminded them of their interconnectedness with the ocean. Building a relationship with fishermen. Sirena's influence reached far beyond the shores. She became a trusted ally to fishermen, transforming their perspectives on the ocean. Social gatherings became infused with nautical folklore, and Sirena's magnetic presence had the power to shift the attitudes of even the most resistant fishermen. Advising on sustainable practices. Sirena provided insights into sustainable fishing techniques that prioritized long-term health over short-term gain. By collaborating with fishermen in implementing practices such as rotational fishing and seasonal catch limits, she helped cultivate a deeper respect for the ocean. "Let us listen to the sea's wisdom, for it knows best how to nourish us," Sirena urged them. Offering mystic guidance. With her magical abilities to communicate with ocean spirits, Sirena served as a mediator between the fishermen and the rhythms of the waters. By helping them understand the ocean's cyclical nature, she fostered a sense of accountability. The fishermen grew to see themselves as stewards of the sea, rather than mere takers. The faces of opposition. Despite her noble intentions, Sirena faced challenges in her efforts to protect the ocean. Resistance arose from those unwilling to embrace change, individuals who prioritized profits over sustainability. This resistance became a reality check for Sirena, prompting her to engage with skeptics more openly. Some fishermen, particularly those driven by greed, dismissed Sirena's practices. They viewed her efforts as naivete, preferring traditional ways that promised short-term gains. This tension created conflict within the community, forcing Sirena to confront the opposition directly, advocating fiercely for her vision of respect toward the ocean. The skepticism of traditionalists provided a barrier, as many were reluctant to shift from deep-rooted customs. Sirena understood that to break down these walls, she would need to earn their respect through patient dialogue and consistent advocacy. Even amidst opposition, Sirena's dedication began to inspire a remarkable transformation within her community. Her actions rippled through Chilota society, and the seeds of sustainable practices began to germinate, fostering trust between generations. As she shared her teachings, younger generations embraced Sirena's message of sustainability, forging new relationships with the ocean. This emerging alliance bridged the gap between tradition and modernity, encouraging a culture of ecological stewardship that challenged outdated norms. Empowerment through collective action. Sirena organized community events, uniting fishermen, families, and local leaders to discuss the future of their marine environment. Together, they explored alternative livelihoods such as ecotourism, distracting from reliance on fishing. Slowly but surely, her community began to develop a renewed respect for the ocean, recognizing its importance as their ultimate provider. Sirena's emotional connection. Beyond the tangible impacts of her efforts, there was an emotional depth to Sirena's mission that permeated her interactions. Her love for the ocean transcended mere guardianship. It was a bond that fueled every action she took. Empathy for all creatures. Sirena often reflected on her mystical relationship with the ocean. The anguish brought on by ecological challenges fueled her empathy for the countless creatures affected by human activities. This emotional connection was her strength, embodying her belief that every being had a role to play in the ecosystem. The spiritual interwoven in action. For Sirena, being a guardian meant embodying the essence of the ocean, listening, honoring, and fostering the natural world. She poured her heart and soul into her protective efforts, embodying the interconnectedness she sought to inspire within her village. Conclusion. Sirena Chilota's role as the guardian of the ocean serves as a testament to the power of connection, an intricate tapestry comprised of empathy for the natural world, enduring relationships with fishermen, and a fierce commitment to sustainability. As she navigated the trials and tribulations of her path, Sirena emerged as a beacon of inspiration for all, reminding her community of the sacred bond they share with the sea and the responsibilities it entails. Sirena's legacy, deep-rooted in her love for the ocean, continues to echo through generations, nurturing the spirit of stewardship and conservation for years to come. A call to adventure. As Sirena Chilota embraced her role as the guardian of the ocean, the currents of fate began to shift. One fateful day, as she sat upon her favorite rocky outcrop lost in thought, a tremor rippled through the surface of the sea, alerting her to a dire situation brewing beneath the waves. This was not merely a physical disturbance. It carried an omen of impending turmoil that she could sense deep within her being. The ominous signs. The once glistening waters, now shrouded in an unsettling hue, stirred a sense of urgency within Sirena. As waves crashed violently against the cliffs, she caught sight of distress signals. The playful fish she fought to protect leapt from the surf, darting in unusual patterns indicative of something amiss. An unnatural drought. The fishermen of the village began to notice dwindling fish populations, a troubling forewarning that echoed through the tales of old. As their nets returned empty, the villagers were plagued with whispers of the sea's ire, believing they had somehow angered the guardians below. Above her, dark clouds began ominously swirling in the distance, seemingly conjured forth by an unseen force. A storm was brewing, one that threatened to unleash chaos upon the coastal community. She felt it. The atmosphere crackled with an energy that spoke volumes of a challenge to come, one that would test her very essence as a mystic and protector. As Sirena closed her eyes, seeking guidance from the ocean spirits that had long been her mentors, a striking vision unfolded before her. The spirits emerged from the depths, urging her to act before it was too late. Visions danced before her mind's eye, a disastrous event looming that could devastate not only the ocean but also the lives woven within its currents. Among the swirling images, a colossal ship appeared, invading the sacred waters. The elders of the community spoke in hushed tones of maritime traders who had little regard for the sanctity of the sea. Wielding technology that threatened to drain the ocean's resources, they sought only profit, dismissing the songs of the spirits. Bolstered by the spirits' whispers and determined not to allow this fate to be realized, Sirena knew she could no longer be a passive bystander. Her heart raced with purpose, triggering an urgent urging that demanded she embark on a quest to protect her beloved home. "I shall intervene," she declared with fierce resolve. Fully aware that confronting this challenge would require more than her individual strengths, Sirena decided to gather allies, those with wisdom, courage, and a deep connection to the ocean. The river of fate had begun to swell, and she was determined to blend her power with others as the swirling maelstrom of uncertainty began to converge. She first summoned the town's fishermen, whom she had long nurtured relationships with. They felt the rising tension in the air, and Sirena recognized that their skills could be invaluable in confronting the pervasive threat. Many of them were wary initially, but her reputation opened their hearts to possibilities. The wise elder. Next, she sought the counsel of an elderly woman named Abuela Marina, known for her deep knowledge of marine lore and herbal medicine. Abuela Marina was not only a guardian of ancient stories, but also a fierce advocate for the earth. "Your calling echoes through the winds, child," she encouraged. With her wisdom, Sirena found grounding, and a plan began to take shape. The inquisitive young ones. Finally, Sirena turned to the younger generation, children spiriting hopes of change, eager to see the renewal of the ocean's bounties. "What can we contribute to aid the sea?" they asked, their eyes alight with enthusiasm. Empowering them became a piece of her strategy. Through the innocence, she could infuse determination and innovation, imbuing them with the sacred responsibility of guardianship. Setting forth on the quest, with newfound allies by her side, Sirena mapped out their expedition to confront the impending invaders. Equipped with spells of protection learned from Abuela Marina and a calligraphy of woven seaweed to guide them over treacherous waters, the team prepared for their journey into the unknown. Gathering resources. They worked together to construct small vessels suited for navigating the turbulent waters while carrying their collective knowledge and abilities on board. Each member dedicated to safeguarding the marine realm they loved. Rituals of protection. Before embarking, the group gathered on the beach, chanting incantations that resonated with the spirits, invoking their support. "We shall protect the sea, embracing its legacy as our own," was the rallying cry that filled the air, transforming doubt into solidarity. Facing the trials ahead. As they set sail into the uncertain depths, Sirena felt the energy coursing through her body, a union of determination and courage that would carry her through the trials that lay ahead. The ocean opened before them, shimmering with possibilities and concealed dangers. The encounter. The journey was fraught with turbulence. Eager to reach the menacing ship and thwart their intentions, Sirena and her alliance of warriors faced fierce waves and howling winds. But they pressed onward, each challenge unveiling their growing bond and resilience.